Again, welcome to the Bradley Avenue Extension Public Update Meeting, the virtual session. We do have an in-person session coming up as well. A reminder that today's meeting will be recorded and posted on our Get Involved webpage right after this. I see we've got about 15 people joining us. We'll just give it another minute before we get started. Anyone just joining on, welcome again. We have lots of staff here today and our consultant partners here to answer your questions and explain about the project. All right, with that, I think let's get started and people can continue to join in. If we can advance the first slide there, we can begin. All right, I'm going to begin the session with a land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are gathered today on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabeg, Haudenosaunee, Lunapawak, and Attawandaron peoples. We honor and respect the history, languages, and cultures of the diverse Indigenous people who call this territory home. We acknowledge all the treaties that are specific to the area, the Two-Row-Wappum Belt Treaty of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy/Silver Covenant Chain, the Beaver Hunting Grounds of the Haudenosaunee-Nanfan Treaty of 1701, the McKee Treaty of 1790, the London Township Treaty of 1796, the Huron Tract Treaty of 1827 with the Anishinaabeg, and the Dish with One Spoon Covenant Wappum and the Anishinaabeg and Haudenosaunee. The three Indigenous languages that are neighbors to London are the Chippewa of the Thames First Nation, Oneida Nation of the Thames, and Munsee Delaware Nation, who all continue to live as sovereign nations with individual and unique language, cultures, and customs. We can go ahead. All right, so just a few reminders about today's session. We will be recording the meeting and posting it online. Please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen if you have questions at all during the presentation. We will do a formal question and answer period after the presentation is over. We'll go through questions one by one, and we have lots of staff here to answer questions. So we'll do that at the end. But if you have any technical difficulties, please feel free to type in there and I can help you out as well. Yeah, in addition to that, we don't have the chat enabled. So yeah, just focus all your comments and questions through the Q&A box, and we'll monitor that and make sure everything gets answered for you at the end. All right, with that said, we will begin the presentation and I'll hand it over to my colleague, Andrew.
Thanks, Megan. Hi, everybody. My name is Andrew Denemy. I'm a transportation design engineer with the city's Transportation Planning and Design Division. This project is being managed by the city's Transportation Planning and Design Division. Jiten Patel is the transportation technologist and project manager on this project. We also have Max Kareev, who is the construction project manager when this moves on to the next phase. London is experiencing significant growth, and improvements on Bradley Avenue will play a vital role in connecting planned development in the area to the transportation network. This new urban thoroughfare connection has been long envisioned in the city's official plan and is supported through various studies, including the 2030 Transportation Master Plan. Surrounding developments have also been coordinated with this connection. The city has hired WSP to manage the design of the new road. And just before I turn it over to WSP, I forgot to mention that on the call today, we also have staff from various divisions supporting the design of this project, including Stormwater Management Division and Forestry staff. And I'll turn it over to WSP for introductions.
Hi, my name is Felix Wong. I'm the project manager from WSP, and I'm also a senior transportation engineer with the company. With me today, I do have Mir Topo, who is a senior environmental planner, as well as Steve Chips, principal water resource engineer. With the introduction complete, I will pass it on to Mir to start off with the presentation.
Thanks, Felix. Good afternoon, everyone. I will be providing an overview of this project and the purpose of this meeting, and some background about the project and how we came to this point in this undertaking. And then I will hand over the presentation back to my colleague Felix, who will go into the details of the planned improvements, and then I will take over the presentation to go over the required environmental permits and approvals for the project, environmental protection measures, and the construction schedule. That will conclude my section of the presentation, and then I'll hand it over back to Megan, who will facilitate the questions and answers for this meeting. So the purpose of this meeting is basically to provide an opportunity to the public to understand about the background of this project and the existing conditions in the project area, the planned works, as well as the next steps in the construction process. We encourage everyone to participate in this meeting by submitting any questions or comments through the Q&A button. Again, if you have any comments or questions that come to mind later on, you're always encouraged to submit those questions and comments via City's engagement page for this project. This project is divided into two main components. One main component involves a new road construction for Bradley Avenue from Barncliffe Road South to White Oak Road. This is shown as a dashed orange line in this map. The second component involves upgrades to Bradley Avenue from White Oak Road to west side of Chalna Boulevard. This is shown as an orange line on this map. The intent of this project is to provide infrastructure that is necessary to support multimodal mobility and development in this area. The construction of this project will begin in 2025 with the construction of the Bradley Avenue extension piece starting first. We have divided this presentation into two main components consistent with how the project is planned. So we will be going over the extension piece first, and then we will be talking about the road upgrades. As Andrew mentioned earlier, the planning of this project has been going on for quite some time. In 2005, the City of London completed an environmental assessment study which recommended the extension of Bradley Avenue from White Oak Road to Bostwick Road. This study recommended a 4-lane cross-section with dedicated pedestrian and cycling facilities. In 2013, the city completed a transportation master plan update, which confirmed the need for this extension to manage the continued growth in the city. In 2017, the construction of Bradley Avenue between Wonderland Road and Barncliffe Road was completed. In 2018, the city initiated the detailed design and property acquisition process for Bradley Avenue extension from Barncliffe Road to Chalna Boulevard. An addendum to the 2005 environmental assessment was completed in 2022, which recommended a widening of Bradley Avenue from White Oak Road to Chalna Boulevard, along with dedicated pedestrian and cycling facilities. As we noted earlier, the construction of this project is planned to begin in 2025. I will now hand it over back to Felix, who will go into the details of the project components.
Thank you, Mir. As Mir mentioned a little earlier, we're going to start with the Bradley Avenue extension portion between Warncliffe Road first, between Warncliffe and White Oaks Road first, followed by the portion of the winding between White Oaks and Chalna Boulevard. For the extension portion, the existing land within the proposed extension corridor is mainly vacant lands to facilitate future developments, as well as wooded areas. As you can see on the map, there is an existing stormwater management pond located just west of White Oaks Road to the top right corner there. Bradley Avenue, there is existing portions of Bradley Avenue just west of Warncliffe Road South, as well as easterly of White Oaks Road. Thus, as you can see, there is a missing connection between the two sections of the road. Existing condition at the Warncliffe intersection, there is a traffic signal operating at that location. Whereas White Oak Road right now, it's controlled by stop conditions. Next slide. As part of the plan works, the proposed extension connects the two pieces of Bradley Avenue running through the vacant lands and the woodlots, which we would require removal of some trees within the wooded area. The road is proposed being a 4-lane urban road with proposed storm sewers and water main. It should be noted that vegetation removal to facilitate this extension will begin in the fall of this year. New traffic signal is proposed at Warncliffe Road South, and existing signals at White Oak Road will be upgraded. The existing swim pond is being upgraded to provide stormwater management for the proposed roadway as well. A new culvert is being proposed at the White Oak Channel to maintain drainage as well. The channel corridor will also be upgraded as part of another project by the city. Here is a clip of the proposed roadway extension. A full plan of the proposed work is available on the city's project website for download. This proposed roadway is a 4-lane urban road with 2 lanes each direction. Turning lanes are proposed at the intersections. There will be proposed sidewalks and bike lanes located on both sides of the road, as well as a landscape boulevard provided between the curb and the sidewalk. The intersections are being improved to facilitate crossings by multiple modes of mobility. And here is a typical cross-section of the proposed road work. The proposed road will have a 45-meter right-of-way, and as noted earlier, 2 lanes of traffic for each direction. There will be a raised center median, which there will be full illumination provided throughout the corridor. Sidewalks and bike paths are on both sides of the road, separated from traffic, and there will be a landscape boulevard in between. In terms of the stormwater management pond, the existing pond will be upgraded to provide additional storage. This facility, as mentioned, is on the west side of White Oak Road and will be on the north side of the proposed roadway. A 4.2 meter span culvert is provided at the White Oak Channel. This culvert will allow fish passage within the improved naturalized watercourse. And as part of the city's future project, this future channel corridor improvement will include construction of a naturalized channel corridor crossing Bradley Avenue just west of Warncliffe. The complete corridor design will include a 60-meter wide corridor of open space, incorporating a natural drainage channel, wetland compensation, wildlife habitats, recreational trails, as well as stormwater management facilities. And now we move on to the section between White Oak Road to Jalna Boulevard. From White Oaks to Jalna, existing Bradley Avenue consists of a 2-lane roadway, 1 lane each direction, and there is sidewalks on both sides of the road. The existing section of the road is a rural cross section with ditches on both sides, which drains to an existing culvert at the location as shown on the plan right now. Existing traffic signals are located at White Oak Road intersection. With the proposed work, the proposed road will be widened to 4 lanes, 2 lanes each direction. It will be an urban cross section with curbs, sidewalks, and bike paths, as well as landscape boulevards where feasible. The existing culvert will be replaced to improve existing drainage conditions, as well as the signals at White Oak will be upgraded. And here is a clip of the proposed roadway improvements. Again, the full plan is available for download at the city's project website. As noted earlier, this proposed widening will consist of 4 lanes in total, 2 lanes each direction. There will be curbs, sidewalks, and bike paths. As shown on the drawing, the intersection at White Oak Road will be improved with modifications of the traffic signals. This will facilitate movement by multiple modes of mobility. Pedestrian and cyclist safeties are being improved at the intersection with provisions of pedestrian crossings at all legs, while we try to shortenings of the pedestrian crossings where possible. As well, bicycle cross rides and bike buses are being provided. As noted, the existing culvert will also be replaced as well. A typical cross-section of proposed widening is being shown on this slide. The proposed widening will fit within the existing 36-meter right-of-way. 2 lanes of traffic each direction with a raised center median. Existing underground infrastructures will be maintained in this section of the road. Full illumination will be provided throughout the corridor. Sidewalks and bike paths separated from traffic will be on both sides of the road, and we will be providing landscape plantings where feasible. The proposed culvert will be replaced and upsized to improve capacity and flow conveyance of the crossing. This is being proposed as part of the city's resiliency to climate change. As part of the improvement, existing weir structures along the channel will also be removed. The new structure will allow for flow conveyance without overtopping of the road for major storm events, which would reduce the risk of flooding in the area. As well, the proposed work will also improve fish habitats and fish passages. In terms of construction staging within this part of the existing road of Bradley Avenue, we are anticipating to maintain a single lane each direction throughout the construction duration. In stage 1, we will shift traffic slightly to the north while we wind the road to the south. And then in stage 2, we will shift the traffic to the south to the wind portion and construct the north half of the road. During stage 2 as well, we will be constructing the north half of the culvert, as well as lowering of the existing water main to facilitate this culvert replacement. And then in stage 3, we will shift traffic to the north to the newly constructed roadway. This will allow us to complete the roadwork on the south half, as well as completing the south half of the culvert. And then finally, in stage 4, we will complete the top course paving, the median islands, as well as illuminations and landscaping. I will pass the presentation back to Mir, and who can speak to the environmental permits and approvals.
Thanks, Felix. So I will now go over the required permits and approvals for the project, the recommended environmental protection measures and compensation measures, project construction schedule, and that will conclude my part of the presentation. I will then hand it over to Megan to facilitate any questions and answers. So starting with the permits and approvals, throughout this design phase of the project, we have been consulting with various regulatory agencies to seek regulatory input as well as the need for permits and approvals. This includes a submission to Fisheries and Oceans Canada to obtain advice under Fisheries Act, and a similar submission to the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks to obtain advice under Endangered Species Act for potential impacts to species at risk, an environmental compliance approval, permit from Upper Thames Conservation Authority for works in regulated areas under Conservation Authorities Act, as well as an arborist report and satisfying cities forestry staff's requirements under city's tree protection bylaw and boulevard tree protection bylaw. A number of environmental protection and mitigation measures have been identified, which will be implemented as part of the project construction. Some examples of these mitigation measures include adhering to sensitive ecological timing windows to avoid direct impacts to wildlife and wildlife habitat, including birds, bats, and fish habitat. Installing wildlife fencing to keep the wildlife out of the work area. Installing erosion and sediment control measures to limit the transport of sediment outside of the construction area and into the natural environment. Installing tree protection barriers to protect the integrity of features to be retained on site. Apart from the protection measures, there will also be some compensation measures. These include planting trees and native vegetations within the boulevard along the new roadway, and the city will create new woodland and wetland features off-site to compensate for the loss of the ecological features. These measures are in addition to the works that Felix mentioned earlier in regards to the complete corridor along the White Oak natural feature. As we mentioned earlier, that the construction for the project is planned to begin in the summer of 2025. To reach this milestone, there are a number of steps that we will have to complete. In the fall of 2025 and up to the fall of 2024 and the spring of 2025, we will be acquiring necessary permits and approvals to facilitate the project construction. There will be tree removals occurring along Bradley Avenue between White Oak Road and Warncliffe Road. And then into spring and summer of 2025, the city will be planning to issue a tender for the project to invite bids from construction contractors and awarding the project to a successful contract bidder. There will be a pre-construction public update meeting to provide an overview of the planned construction process. There will also be utility relocations occurring before the construction can begin in the summer of 2025. The construction at this time is anticipated to be completed by the fall of 2026. And this concludes my part of the presentation. I will hand it over to Megan, who will facilitate questions and answers.
Awesome, thank you. All right, we do already have a few questions, so I will dive right in. The first one is around construction timing. Are there any factors that might delay the start of the project occurring in 2025? I don't know, Andrew, do you want to take that one on?
Yes, thank you, Megan. So the project construction timing is contingent on the city receiving permits from regulatory agencies, including the Upper Thames. We have completed our consultation with MECP, which was completed in 2024, which is why the project last year or starting this year did not occur. Again, it's all contingent on receiving the permitting from the Upper Thames.
Okay, thank you. All right. Will White Oak Channel be done at the same time as the road construction or later?
I'm assuming this is referring to the White Oak Channel improvements just south of Warncliffe, between Warncliffe and Exeter Road. For that, it will be occurring at the same time as the construction of the road, just one of the phases of the, not the complete corridor, just the phase to connect the channel and incorporate our road design with the culvert crossing. Adrian from our stormwater management team could elaborate too on just what those improvements in the construction of Bradley might include.
Sure, thanks, Andrew. Yeah, so for the complete corridor component that'll be integrated with the construction of Bradley Ave, as Andrew mentioned, it will be from Warrencliffe southernly to where we can find a good point to tie in the channel. Will be the first phase of that works, and then subsequent phases will align with the development timing in the area. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and ask a few more of the construction related questions. There's one here just asking generally who is doing all of the construction, stormwater improvements, and new sewer installments. Do we have that outsourced yet?
So the construction of the road extension, including all underground infrastructure such as stormwater and water mains, will be constructed by one contractor. We are scheduled to tender the project early in 2025. After that competitive bid process is complete, we should have a contractor on board to complete all the work required for the road extensions.
Thank you. And will there be traffic calming measures put in place during construction to limit the impacts on the neighborhood? This individual has commented that especially earnest in the west segment of Jalna for people trying to divert around the construction.
Thank you for the flag there. Our transportation planning and design staff, including our traffic calming team, will definitely review the area and make recommendations for traffic calming during construction. And that will be confirmed closer to the construction date.
Perfect, thank you. And then a couple questions just around like specific property impacts. Can you remind the group, what is the process for communicating specific property impacts with property owners as we progress further on the project?
So west of White Oak Road, we have obtained all the permanent property required for the right-of-way of Bradley Avenue. Our realty services team is coordinating and finalizing some of the temporary construction easements that are required, just for grading and tying in the roadway with the existing ground elevations. But all the permanent property requirements for this project have been obtained and complete.
Thank you. Just taking a look at the other questions here. Okay, what are the plans for signals at major subdivision exit points such as Andover's Trails, which is bounded by Wonderland, Southdale, Bradley, and Warrencliffe, which get quite busy?
So there has been already a request for signals at Morgan, but we will continue to monitor traffic conditions and monitor to determine if traffic signals are warranted in the future, and that will be coordinated with our traffic engineering team.
Thank you. And just a question around like construction drawings, reports, letters, all of those things will be sent to homeowners and property owners in the area. And we'll also make sure that this presentation, as well as the role plan, so the entire design for the project is uploaded to the Get Involved webpage. So those will be easily downloadable for you if you need those resources. Okay, question about, okay, so one person let us know that there's currently housing construction happening along Lismer Lane in the subdivision. Are you able to advise if there will be any road access to this subdivision off of the new Bradley extension?
I'm assuming we're talking about the future Paul Peel Ave connection as per the London plan. That connection to Bradley Avenue will be constructed through the development process. So there's some property that isn't owned by the city yet that's north of the Bradley Avenue right-of-way. That land and the dedications for a future road connection would be completed through separate subdivision processes.
Thank you. Do we have any additional information on sanitary servicings associated with this overall project?
So this project is limited to stormwater management and water main construction only. No sanitary is included in the new road extension portion.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. Question here just regarding like timings for the UTRCA approvals. Do we have any insights on that?
So we're working towards finalizing our detailed design submission to Upper Thames, and we're targeting a submission to Upper Thames at the end of this year, so in December. And their timelines may vary, but they typically need 2 to 4 weeks to review the application. But we have been coordinating with Upper Thames throughout the design process to make sure that they're involved in the design, and we make sure that any needs are met from them as well.
Awesome. And just want to reiterate, if anyone else has any further questions, please put them in, or if you would like some more clarification on a question you did ask that was answered verbally, please feel free to type in the Q&A to get that clarified, because we're happy to. Again, just a reminder that this presentation and a copy of the overall role plan or design will be uploaded to Get Involved. So those will be all available for download or viewing within the day. We did just get one more question here. Would there be any impact to subsurface infrastructure such as power line, communication lines, etc.? What are the mitigations that will be put in place for that?
Good question. We are anticipating utility relocations are required for the road upgrades east of White Oak Road, mainly London Hydro. We are working with them to finalize the relocation strategy, and relocations will begin prior to the start of construction.
Awesome, thank you. Just give everyone another few minutes if there's any questions, further questions about the project. And a reminder that if there's something that comes to mind after this, you can always email any of the project representatives listed on the slide. We also are hosting an in-person drop-in session next Thursday, November 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the South London Community Center. So please come out to that if you want to have more conversations with staff. We'll have all those details. And I also want to remind everyone that we will host a pre-construction meeting where we can get into even more detail about the construction staging and the nature of that work closer to the start date. That will opportunity to chat with staff will also be provided. I think this might be a continuation of our chat about servicing, but it says, my understanding is that there will be a new water line on the Bradley Avenue extension.
Yes, the works include construction of a new water main.
Okay, thank you. Okay, question around development. There is a potential future development on the north side of Bradley, west of White Oaks, which will require storm, sanitary, water connections, and access to do those connections at the time of construction. How can we proceed with that?
So I think these requests, they'll need to go through our planning and development division, and any improvements will have to be coordinated through their team, and we can coordinate with our design team if necessary for any improvements that may be required. But so as of to date, I don't believe that there has been any coordination with any plan development at the corner of, is this, just want to clarify, is this the corner of White Oak and Bradley? The northwest side of the intersection?
Yeah, if you want to just yes. Yep.
Yeah, okay. So I don't believe our design team has received any requests yet from planning and development, but those will have to be coordinated through that division.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, so maybe some follow-up conversations about that one are required. Awesome. Okay. We'll give everyone another minute here in case any other questions arise. Okay, well, perhaps we'll just take this time. Andrew, do you mind just reiterating what the more near-term next steps are for this project? And then I think we can conclude the session with that.
Yes, so our design team is working towards finalizing the detailed design for the road extension and the road improvements. And we are planning to tender this project early in 2025 with construction scheduled for summer 2025. Prior to construction, there will be a pre-construction meeting where you can learn more about the project and potential impacts during construction.
Awesome.
And yeah, I guess you may see some pre-construction work beginning in the next couple months, which would include tree removals and yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, thanks for bringing that slide back up. Just good to have a clear kind of path forward for everyone. And if there are no further questions popping up, I think we can end there. So thank you everyone for taking the time to join, to learn about the project, ask us questions, and please do not hesitate to email any member of the project team in the meantime. And maybe we'll see a few of you next week for the in-person drop-in. So thank you again. And we will be in touch with more details as they come. Thank you.